Hello again, Roy.RealEstate here with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you about some water well issues, some different things to think about if you're buying a property that has a water well. A lot of times we think about a water well being something that's all the way on a rural property, a big ranch or something like that, but there's lots of places that are either in the city limits or close to the city limits, particularly in the north side of San Angelo, that have water wells. Some of them in addition to city water, some of them instead of city water, and then there's lots of the smaller places, the 1 to 5, 10 acre places that are just a little farther outside the city that have water wells. So there's some different things you got to think about if you're looking at a property that has a water well, particularly if you're going to be living off that water. If your home is going to be on that water, you're going to have to think about some different things. So when you got started looking at the property, just be aware of this at the beginning, and that's one of the things. I'll try to help you through the process and explain how it works to you. But there's some things where if the property is served by a water well and not by city water, it can run into some difficulties if there's a way to get rural water. Sometimes FHA and VA will actually require you to bring the rural water in, whether it's Millersview Dual or Concho Rural or some of the other water systems around here. If those are available at a reasonable price in their determination, then they can actually make you bring water to your home from that rural water source. Whether or not it's any better than the well water or not doesn't really matter to them. So that's something you see with VA and FHA loans. So if the property is served by a water well, there's some questions you want. You want to know what's the quality of the water, both in volume and in just hardness. Are there different contaminants in it that might affect the health of your family? Are you going to be able to get water all the time? Are you in a place where water wells tend to go dry? And some of these questions are get a little difficult to answer. First off is the volume of water. We can have someone go out there and measure the amount of water coming that we can get from that well today, whatever day we're doing this. But what that doesn't guarantee you is that in a drier time or a wetter time that doesn't change, because the underground water tables will vary substantially in some places by how wet or dry the year is. Particularly a couple of years ago when O.C. Fisher was really, really low, there's a lot of wells to the east of there in the Lakeview area and whatnot that were not working very well. But then once there was water back in the lake, those wells came back and worked fine. So that's one of the things you want to know is volume. And we can have that tested and know what it is on that day. But that can vary depending on the uses out of the water table and those kind of things. The second is the quality. There's testing you can done for hardness. Most places around here, the water is going to be hard. And then are there fecal contaminants, E. coli type stuff, which you can kill those. And FHA and VA, by the way, will require those tests. But you can kill those, but it's an ongoing maintenance issue. It's not a one-time fix to the problem. You can test for any other contaminants, lead, heavy metals, any of the things like that. There's lots of things you can test for, just depending on how specific you are about the water you want. You can talk about water treatment systems at possibilities as well, probably in a different video. So you can have all those things tested for. But again, what you're testing is the water that you got out of the ground that day. You're not testing what it's going to be like 5 or 10 years from now. There's no guarantees on that. Particularly in this area that we have a lot of shallow wells, so you can get some nitrates and nitrites in them that can be from runoff from the farms where they're irrigating or different things like that. So the fertilizers and even feedlots and stuff can contribute to that because our wells are pretty shallow. The ground acts as a filter, but because it doesn't go very far, sometimes it's not that good of a filter. Then the other thing you want to know about a well when you're getting ready to buy a place is what kind of condition is it in? Is everything in good condition, well maintained, and well taken care of? And that can be determined as well by the same people that can go out and test the volume, test everything. They can give you some pointers on the condition and everything of it. So I can help you with all that process. Again, it's not really anything to be scared about. It's just something to be aware of and to factor into your decision. One of the things you'll figure out in the long term, you're probably going to spend a whole lot less on water than you would if you're using city water. Now, there's advantages, that somebody else takes care of it for you in the city. But all you're really paying for is the maintenance and then the pump, the electricity to pump the water out of the ground. So on a month-to-month basis, you're paying a lot less per gallon of water than you would if you were on city water, which is why you see the signs, particularly when there's water restrictions in the city. You see a real pretty yard in a neighborhood that doesn't have pretty yards, and they'll have a sign saying well water. They're letting people know that their water in their yard with well water and they don't have to report them to the city and stuff like that. So there is a potential cost savings there, but there's some headaches and some just additional knowledge, and you can have times that something breaks. You know, we had an issue recently at my house, and something went out on the well, and we didn't have water until we could get someone out there to fix it. So those are some additional issues that you don't have in the same way with city water. It does occasionally happen, but usually it's fixed faster because there's a large staff that can jump on it right away. So as always, there's lots of different variables and things like this. As we go through the process, if you got questions, we'll talk about it as you're getting closer and ready to make an offer on a property. You're trying to compare two properties. One may have a water well and one has community water, rural water, city water, whatever. So just as a way to compare those. If you got any more questions, just give me a call. Roy.RealEstate, 325-268-0775. Thank you.